when President Kennedy became the first Irish and first Catholic president of the United States. It was crossing a threshold that was so dramatic and opened the doors to so much more. Well, I don't have Irish grandparents. I do have Irish grandchildren, Liam, Sean, and Ryan. They've been baptized in the Church of Kilquay Church in County Wicklow, and they always remind me of the exuberant spirit of the Irish people. In fact, they had this toast that they like to make. They're bigger now, teenagers, but when they were little, they would have this toast that said, "Dance as though no one is watching, love as though you've never loved before, sing as though no one can hear you, and live as though heaven is on earth." So I said to them, "Is that a precious toast in your Irish family?" And they said, "No, it's a poster we saw in Shannon Airport." So in any way, on a serious note, as we celebrate our common heritage, we also look to the future and our shared interest, working to continue peace in Northern Ireland, reaffirming our commitment to the European-U.S. relationship that is the anchor of freedom in the West and throughout the world, supporting all of our alliances and combating threats to our democracies and election systems, and protecting our people by safeguarding clean air, clean water. The Irish, so many ideas when we were in Ireland as to how we go forward in terms of energy and a good energy economy with good paying jobs. So in that spirit, I welcome the Taoiseach. We're so honored and so proud that you are with us. And a number of Taoiseachs have been here, well, since 1984. Every year, Mr. President asked if the President always came to this lunch. Oh, yes, it's a command performance, but a nice family affair. So here we are, and now I have been told that the appropriate introduction for the next person that I am to present to you is to keep it very simple. The appropriate introduction is, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Father, very much. It's a great honor to be here. This is my third one. It's happening so fast. Who would have thought? The first I remember, the second I remember very well, and this is third. So time flies. But, Madam Speaker, I want to thank you very much for those lovely remarks, and congratulations on the Irish grandchildren. That's pretty good. Also, I want to thank our Vice President, Mike Pence, who's with us today. All of the distinguished members of Congress, of which we actually have many, and our many wonderful Irish friends as we begin our celebration of St. Patrick's Day. This afternoon, we're delighted to join all in welcoming Taoiseach, who I've gotten to know very well. My friend, we discussed a lot of things that were of great interest to all of us just a little while ago in the Oval Office. In particular, we talked about Brexit, something that's turning out to be a little more complex than they thought it would be. But it'll all work out. Everything does. One way or the other, it's going to work out. But you had a very interesting view on it, and I appreciate your letting me know what's going on over there. Very, very tough situation. I also want to thank Ireland's ambassador, Daniel Mulhall. Thank you very much, Daniel. I appreciate it. And the entire Irish delegation for being with us today. The United States and Ireland are bound together by ties of both kinship and friendship. It's really a great friendship. It's a friendship like rarely does any country have with another. Our citizens share an abiding love of faith, family, freedom. Today, our relationship is as strong and resilient as the great Irish people are strong and resilient. Since America's founding, men and women of Irish descent have strengthened our nation beyond measure. In every war since the American Revolution, Irish Americans have fought with distinction to win our independence, to preserve our union and defend our way of life. And nobody has done it like the Irish. They do it with flair, they do it with brilliance. They've moved our hearts with timeless works of art, literature, and music. Irish Americans have also answered the call to serve our nation at the highest levels of government. And you look at the United States Supreme Court, you look in the halls of Congress, and throughout my administration, a lot of Irish. They're all over the place. Right, Mike? As an example, Mike, you have your sister Annie here today. Where's Annie? Annie, very nice to have you. That's very good. And you're serious Irish. That's what I'm hearing. Anyway, nice to have you, Annie. Thank you. Many members of Congress in the room also trace their roots to Ireland, including House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Kevin, thank you very much. What a good job you're doing. How's he doing, Nancy? Okay? You have a little advantage. She has a little advantage, but that's okay. But he's doing okay. Good. Thank you, Kevin, very much. Senator Pat Leahy, Patrick, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And co-chairs of the Friends of Ireland Caucus, Richie Neal and Peter King. Richie, thank you very much. Where's Peter? Where's Peter? Peter, thank you very much. We see each other here and lots of other places, and you're doing a great job. Thank you very much, Peter. And from Queens, too, on top of everything from Queens. This afternoon, we're also proudly joined by House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, and Steny, thank you very much. Steny, stand up. Come on, Steny. You worked hard. Come on, stand up, Steny. Okay, thank you, Steny. And Congressman Elliot Engel, thank you very much. Thanks, Elliot. I appreciate it very much. They really have worked very hard on a lot of issues, and some pertaining specifically to Ireland, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you, Elliot. Since the 7th century, St. Patrick's Day has honored the legacy of Ireland's patron saint, a man of profound humility and faith whose selfless service is an inspiration to us all. On St. Patrick's Day, 1937, President Roosevelt noted that in times of plenty and in times of famine, Ireland and the descendants of Ireland have been faithful to the heritage of St. Patrick's. That's right. Today, we reaffirm our enduring gratitude for the profound contributions, extraordinary service, and unyielding spirit of the Irish people. As the United States and Ireland grow ever closer in friendship and partnership, and we are indeed growing closer, we're doing trade deals, we're doing things that we frankly have not done to this extent before. May we find inspiration in the example of those who came before. May we draw new strength from the noble example of St. Patrick, and may we all be blessed by the luck of the Irish. That's a good thing, the luck of the Irish. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you again for joining us. You had a very long and good trip, and we really appreciate that you're here. And please give our warmest and best regards to all of the great and wonderful people of Ireland. Thank you very much. Please. Thank you, Leo. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President named some of our luminaries who are here. And I do want to say, Mr. President, that over the years, this tradition has been blessed by the presence of many giants in the Irish-U.S. relationship. Ted Kennedy, year in and year out, George Mitchell, and as you mentioned, Pat Leahy here now. But again, when the President talks about the contributions to the Irish in America, for some of us of a certain generation, the election of President John F. Kennedy was just the most remarkable thing that a Catholic would be president, as I said earlier. And his grandnephew serves in the House of Representatives with us now, Joe Kennedy. Again, it goes, our next guest is well known to everyone here. One of the reasons we are all here is to welcome here Mr. Taoiseach, though, I have to just say this, as an Italian-American. We were raised, and most of us were in school with Irish Catholic nuns who taught us about the Kennedys and the Irish-American contribution, and St. Patrick's Day was a very important day to us. It was important because we were honoring St. Patrick, but as an Italian-American, I was always taught that St. Patrick was Italian. And look no further than Hibernia, the winter camp of the Romans. So anyway, St. Patrick, whatever his origin or his existence, it was a day, Father Conroy will attest, that we did not have to honor whatever we gave up for Lent. We could take off from that. It was a day of dispensation. So for these, in any event, a cause for celebration, a real celebration in many, many ways about the ethnicity, the religion, family, community, building America, as Ronald Reagan said. And so for these and so many other reasons, the bond has been a close one, and we watch with great interest what happens in Ireland. And of course, it was a crossing of a threshold for the Irish as well to elect this patriotic, groundbreaking, idealistic young leader. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Taoiseach of Ireland.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, members of Congress, distinguished guests and friends. Lá Éile Pádraig Honadíobh Galer. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. Before I start, I just want to acknowledge some of the people who have travelled from Ireland to be here at this important event today. Of course, led by our ambassador based here, Dan Mulhall, the Secretary General of the Government, Martin Fraser, political leaders who are here from Ireland as well, John Deasy TD, Billy Lawless, Arlene Foster, leader of the DUP, Mary Lou MacDonald, leader of Sinn Féin, all here joining us for this important lunch. We're also joined by our Chief Justice, Frank Clark, who's here as well, and the head of our police force, Drew Harris, our Garda Commissioner, who previously served in the Northern Ireland Police Service, and perhaps as a demonstration of how much things have changed in Ireland, that the head of our police service in the Republic of Ireland formerly served in the Northern Ireland Police Service, and of course our Attorney General, Seamus Wolfe. So you may wonder who's running the country, given that we're all having lunch here in Washington DC, but I can assure you that our Taoiseach and Deputy Prime Minister is looking after everything at home at the moment. Mr. President, Madam Speaker, the Irish people, I believe, have always had a very good dialogue with the American people. Our relationship is genuine, it's warm, and it's stood the test of time. Your political and civic leaders of all parties and all backgrounds have helped to shape the country that Ireland is today. And today I particularly want to thank the Friends of Ireland caucus under the outstanding leadership of Chairman Richie Neal and Pete King for your friendship and support down the years. From its inception, as you know, it's been strictly bipartisan in its composition, and particularly when it comes to issues like Northern Ireland. From Tip O'Neill to Richie Neal, from Ted Kennedy to Pete King, its members, Democrats and Republican alike, helped to lay the foundations for the Good Friday Agreement, a compromise brokered by Senator George Mitchell and guaranteed by international law. As Congressman Brendan Boyle, the son of an Irishman from Glenculmkill in County Donegal, has recently said, the great foreign policy achievements of the 20th century. And I want to say, on behalf of the Irish Government, on behalf of the Irish people, that we thank the Friends of Ireland caucus and the Congress for their vital help at this critical time to help us to protect and ensure that there is no return to a hard border on the island of Ireland whatever else may happen as a consequence of Brexit. Madam Speaker, President Reagan once said that a people free to choose will always choose peace. And I think he was right. And I know in the land of liberty, you'll continue to protect that fundamental freedom. I also want to acknowledge our friend and former Congressman Bruce Morrison, who helped to make that peace possible as well. Today, his name is known and celebrated in every county in Ireland because of the work that he did to allow Irish men and Irish women to make the American dream their own. And I believe the E3 visa programme, which I've discussed with some of you earlier today, and I'm sure will again, is true to our shared history and offers a chance for a new generation of talented, hard-working dreamers to give something to this great country, and I hope that will come to pass. Madam Speaker, 100 years ago, in 1919, a Congress of Irish men and Irish women declared our independence, making a bold statement about democracy, freedom, self-determination and liberty that resonated across the world. Our freedom, our liberty and our prosperity was not achieved all at once. There were stepping stones along the way. And one of those stepping stones was our new constitution, Bunreacht na hÉireann, in 1937. And when I was preparing for this speech, I had a chance to come across something really interesting in our archives. It's from 81 years ago. The year was 1937, the year our Constitution came into effect. And a message of support was sent from the United States, signed by 300 congressmen, governors, Democrat and Republican alike. And on that document, 81 years old, are names like Harry Truman, Richard Russell and Henry Cabot Lodge Jr. So, Madam Speaker, as a token of my appreciation and the friendship between our two nations, I'd like to return to you in Congress a framed copy of that message to symbolise our historic connection, to remind us of our shared values and to inspire us of what we can achieve together in the future. Gurb míle maith go léir. I think we kept the original.
You'll never tell.
To the Honourable Eamon de Valera of Dublin, Ireland.
Thank you so much. Taoiseach Varadkar, I will display that beautiful document with great pride in the Speaker's office of the Capitol of the United States. And I'm sure whoever is Speaker will always display that with great pride in that office for anyone who visits there to see, for so many reasons, the close ties between our two nations and how far back that relationship goes in a very official way. Thank you, Taoiseach Varadkar, for your honoring us with your presence, for presenting us with that historic document. And as you were speaking earlier, even before that wonderful presentation, I was thinking what an historic day this is for each and every one of us to be present in this room to hear your presentation and the new face of Ireland and all that you represent. It's emotional, it's officially and personally an honor to welcome you, especially to this Congress. And to give us the blessing of the Lord on these historic proceedings, I'm going to call upon our chaplain of the House, Father Conroy, who serves us with great dignity and devoutness as the chaplain of the House of Representatives. Mr. Conroy. That means after the blessing.
you.